Hey guys, Marshall from Going Gear, SHOT Show 2016 in Las Vegas with Matt from Benchmade. How's it going, man?
Good, Marshall. How are you doing?
Good. It's been, I think, a couple of years since I've done one with you, right?
It has, definitely, yep.
But we're back at it, so he's going to show us the new products for Benchmade from all their various lines. You ready to get started?
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
So this is the new 908-161. It's our Axis Striker, but in a unlimited gold version for 2016. It's got red and black carbon fiber, a red anodized pivot ring. You can see those nice red barrel spacers, and the Damasteel blade. Of course, the Benchmade patented Axis lock as well. This is a 928 proxy. This is the first time Benchmade has ever done a G10 and titanium two-sided monolock like this. And this is a flipper. This is a Warren Osborne design. This, of course, is really exciting for us, for one, because tragically Warren Osborne passed away a few weeks ago. So this is sort of his last design that we've been able to work with him and incorporate into the Benchmade line. Great flipper action. And you can see it's got CPM 20 CV blade steel, which is equivalent to M390, but from Crucible, so it's a US steel.
So you talk about how this is your first G10 in titanium, but this is your first frame lock flipper.
That's true. It's also our first frame lock flipper. Yep.
That's the exciting part to me.
And we had the 300 before, which is an Axis flipper, and we have another knife we'll show you that's it's a liner lock flipper, but you're right, this is our first frame lock flipper with the G10 and the tie. It's a great upscale flipper knife from Benchmade. So the next flipper we have is the 320 Precinct. You can see it's got this G10 peel ply, nice grip. It's more of a tactical design from Butch Ball. And this has bearing spacers in it, so it's super fast, super smooth. 154 CM blade steel, and of course, as Marshall said, it's another flipper from Benchmade, so it's very exciting. This one, unlike the 928, which is a frame lock, this 320 is a liner lock.
And you'll have plain edge at this when it's released?
We will, yep. So the 490 Amicus, this of all the knives is probably the one I'm most excited about. I know Marshall's super excited about this knife too.
I am.
The main reason is that this particular knife is an Axis flipper assist for the first time ever, and you can see that tiny little flipper nub on the back. Because it's the Axis mechanism and the assist, you really don't need much, and this knife comes out fast and of course locks up tight like you would expect from a Benchmade. Great comfortable handle design and a nice shiny smooth finish like you get on the Pagan 3320 also, which adds a great look to that more kind of jet knife feel but a larger overall frame. And the other big deal on this is that it's got CPM S90V blade steel, which of course is super high-end and awesome in general.
You know, you guys sent out a product sheet on all the new knives to dealers a few weeks early, and I was looking at this and I was like, oh, that's cool. You know, I'm going to order a few of those and see what happens. And then I get here and I see what it actually is, and I'm like, I'm going to order quite a few more of those because that's awesome, awesome, awesome knife. I'm really excited to see more flippers from you guys, especially flippers with an Axis lock. That's really exciting.
Yeah, you can expect more to come.
Great, that's good to hear.
So the 698, if this knife looks familiar to you, it's because it looks a lot like the 690. That's really sort of its predecessor that it was based on, one of the best Benchmades of all time. We wanted to bring it back to the line with some more modernized features. G10 handle scales, of course full liners with the barrel spacers, get your deep carry pocket clip. And this again is more of a gent knife, but still offers a nice large frame overall.
Is that my imagination or is that a slight recurve on there?
There is a slight recurve on there. It is not your imagination. And this knife is CPM 20 CV blade steel, so like the M390, but this is a Crucible steel that's domestically manufactured.
So similar metallurgic properties to the M390?
That's right. So you're going to get great corrosion resistance and at the same time good edge retention. So the 765, this is the mini version of the 761, which of course was extremely popular for us last year. It's a very high-end, full titanium handle monolock design with the M390 blade steel. All of the new frame lock knives are going to have carbidized lock bars. So you're going to get a really nice, smooth, and well-engaged lockup. Of course, this has the tie clip. Fantastic overall look and design. I have no doubt this will be very popular.
It looks like you guys are doing tip up and tip down on this one.
We are, which is different than the 761. Yep. So very exciting for us also, of course, the highly popular Barrage. These knives, the 585 and 580-2s, are G10 handled versions of the Barrage with S30V blade steel. So of course, the axis assist mechanism, and then you can see those cuts that are milled into the handle give this great tractability. And the moment we've all been waiting for, the Griptilian, of course, with G10 handle scales. And this G10, you can see, is actually stacked, so there's this really cool blue inside that matches those blue barrel spacers. They're manual knives like all the Griptilians are, and this is available both with the thumb hole and the thumb stud in both mini and full size. And unlike the 555 and 550 from Benchmade, these thumb hole knives are actually a flat grind, not a hollow grind. And they both have, all four of the models have 20 CV blade steel.
Are you going to be carrying this into the Tonto and any other types?
We haven't decided yet, but we may keep you on ice on that one.
Maybe?
Maybe. So the 179, now at first glance in the sheet this looks like one of our SOC P knives. The difference here is that when you pull this out, this is actually the SOC P Rescue. So you can see instead of a blade, you've got a rescue hook, an O2 wrench, and a carbide glass breaker. And the thought process from Greg Thompson, the creator and founder of SOC P, behind this is that a lot of the law enforcement agencies he was working with, like some of the Secret Service guys, etc., they were actually looking for a less than lethal option when they couldn't carry a blade with them. And so this provides that, and also functionality for rescue personnel, EMTs, firefighters, and that same great low-profile sheath design. The other unique feature of this, of course, this being a rescue-orientated tool, and this one, the original SOC P, of course, this is the American Sniper's version, but this 178 everyone's familiar with, is bladed and has a more intense use and application. You can see the jimping on the back here. That's the traditional SOC P jimping, but in case you had both on your person and you needed to be able to tell the difference without looking, you can see there's actually a gap there so you can do it by feel instead of by look. So much like we've seen improvements in the mechanism features on the larger automatics, for this year we've actually included that in the Reflex, the 3550, which is now the 3551 and has a name, the Stimulus, and then the Mini Striker. You can see that larger button, and there's handle relief here, and we've changed the spring geometries a bit to improve and enhance reliability over time. Outside of those features, these knives are the same blade steel, same handle designs as they have been in the past. The 4300-1, so this is much like the 4300 from the previous year. We were getting a lot of feedback. Of course, people love the smooth handles, but then you have your fans that are also interested in having a more tractable grip. In this case, we've done that here with two-colored G10, OD green and black. Same mechanism features, great thin overall profile, barrel spacers, 154 cm blade steel. I'm a big fan of the 4300. So the 167 and 169, the protagonist knives, both in the Tonto and the drop point, the intention here is much in the same way as an Imravis, but this actually gives a lower price point to the product and allows us to offer the same great functionality and even some improvements. Like in this case, we have a dual durometer handle, which is not something we've done on a fixed blade before, where you have a harder outside where it's going to end up in more rugged situations or may be subject to more force. And then on the inside where your fingers land, it's a softer durometer. Give you more grip on the handle. So the 119 Arvenzas, this is a Seibert design. You can see it's got some of those classic Seibert features like the titanium through pins. This is a big, big fixed blade. It's a big piece of 154 cm, and you can see it's got that sort of great industrial blend that Seibert does between those real hard lines and then that nice, comfortable, ergonomic grip. It's a pretty aggressive looking blade, big long serrations, and a big radius on the front of this. Has this really cool long clip point, almost like a Bowie style blade design.
Is this going to be a combo edge only, or are you going to do a plain edge on this one as well?
It's a good question. You can get it in combo and plain edge. And another thing that's really great to mention on this is this sheath. And we were talking a little bit about this. This is called Bolteron, this material. It's a lot like Kydex, but it's easier to manufacture with precision tolerances. So they're able to get more repeatability in the way it's created, so you get a better fit and finish out of it. And this has this really cool clip design on the attachment here in the back. So this can be mounted a number of ways, and this actually integrates into MOLLE. You can clip it on a belt, and it snaps into place.
Is there any point to this part down here?
Yeah, that down there you would use if you wanted to have a secondary attachment feature with a malice clip.
Okay.
So these two knives are the Crooked River knives, and they're actually in addition to our Hunt line, although I really am excited about these in general. As an overall profile, there's some really unique features in here and combinations of colors and materials that we haven't had on knives before, like this orange pivot ring, that aluminum bolster with that gray anodization, and then the wood, or here in the Dash 1 version, you get the gray G10. Also has a really cool flash of orange color on the back here with the back spacer.
I like the little pops of color. I love when you guys do the little pops of color somewhere on the knife where the whole thing isn't necessarily orange, although that's a bad example because I love orange. But the little pops of blue and green and purple that you guys do, it looks really cool.
Yeah, I'm always excited when we step out of the box a bit and try some different industrial design features and add some colors.
So what are the actual materials on this one?
So here you've got, this is basically a impregnated, stabilized wood, aluminum bolsters. Here you got G10, gray G10, and again the same aluminum bolsters. The orange pivot ring, it's got an orange G10 back spacer, and then the blade steel on both of these, like all of the Hunt knives, is CPM S30V. This is the Nestucca cleaver. The blade design may look familiar because it's based on the Alaskan Ulu knife, which is primarily used for fleshing applications, for duties around the kitchen. You know, it's a great chopper. It can be used in hunting situations, as a camp knife, in the kitchen. The difference here between what you would get in an Ulu and this is this actually sort of has this hatchet or cleaver-like design with the small handle on it. That allows you to hold this knife in more ways. You can get it here like a regular knife with your finger through the hole, or you can get on top of it like you would with an Ulu knife for chopping or fleshing. It's S30V. It's got orange G10 handle scales, and that S30V with that huge radius not only allows you to make really long cuts, but of course spreading that cut across such a large radius provides fantastic edge retention as well.
What kind of sheath is going to be on this one?
So this has a leather sheath that it drops into with a little snap retention across the top.
Have you guys tried to do any chopping with that?
We have not tried any chopping. We've done plenty of field testing as far as hunting goes, and it's performed fantastically. It looks, again, this is one of these knives where we were talking about, I always like to see us step out of the box a little bit. This is very different and unique from Benchmade, so we're excited about this for sure. So like the 3320 Pagan, this 3321 differs, of course, in the same profile as the 3320, but now you see it has the difference of a single edge instead of a double-sided edge. So for people that are looking for a little more utility out of this knife from an out-the-front standpoint, now you can actually get on top of the blade and push with it if you need to, use it like you would any other knife.
And it's a legality thing in some places, right, where you can't have the double edge?
In some states it is, but I'm going to leave it up to people in their own jurisdiction to figure that out with local law enforcement, where it's legal and where it's not. So these are familiar profiles to people, but what's unique about these is this is a partnership we have with AmericanSnipers.org. It's a really terrific organization that helps provide gear and funding to standard unit sniper details overseas. So most of the time, a lot of the funding is going to more of the special operations teams, and some of the standard infantry units, their sniper groups aren't getting quite the funding. American Snipers helps them to have the gear and support that they need when they deploy. So this is the SHOT Show special for the year. So a select amount of our dealers, including Going Gear, are going to have this product available. You can see it's the same profile that you've seen before, but now you've got this real flashy pop of blue and gray layered G10.
How many of these did you make?
This is a limited run of 750 pieces.
And you actually have somebody here at the show making these, right?
We do, actually. At the front, we have every year at SHOT Show, of the last couple of years, we've been bringing somebody from our assembly team to assemble these at the show to showcase for the industry what it is that makes Benchmade special.
We will attempt to make that video, no promises.
That's right. And this is M390 blade steel, which is worth mentioning as well. So new for HK for 2016, you can see this is the Entourage knife, but it now has a G10 inlay. We're still doing the Entourage in its traditional format. This is an upgraded version with D2 blade steel and the G10 inlays, same great mechanism. And then the Patrol. I'm pretty pumped about this knife. You can see it has that kind of stippling texture pattern. This is actually a composite auto. So this is a molded handle with a liner, with a cartridge liner in it. So it's very lightweight. Fast action, great blade design. And again, the D2 blade steel.
So it looks like a pretty similar profile to the CLA.
It is similar to the CLA, and in a lot of ways it's sort of the same internals with the composite.
But with the composite, I'm guessing that's going to be a pretty aggressive price point.
It is, you're right. This is a $160 MSRP knife.
Pretty nice for a US-made automatic.
Right. And then the CLA, you've got G10, like you're saying, here you've got the composite frame. This is a Clout tactical axe from HK. You can see it's got what they call the axe beard with the jimping. It's very aggressive.
Is that really what it's called?
Yes, it is actually called a beard.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Tactical beards are cool these days, especially on an axe, right? So the aggressive jimping in here for the finger and the grip. This has a really heavy head on it, and the back end you can see actually has more of a hammer surface to it. So you could use this even around camp if you weren't necessarily going to use this in a sort of tactical door busting situation.
What's the materials on it?
The material on it is a pretty standard stainless steel head, and then you've got a molded handle that's been designed specifically to take the force that you would be applying to something like this.
All right, Matt, thanks for your time.
Thanks a lot, Marshall. Always a pleasure, man.
Doobie doobie doo.
This is my lipstick, okay? Thank you.
My blush. Are my sweaty pits?
Just keep your arms down. High five.
Yeah. Tuck my shirt in a little bit.